or well, 10. So that's a veteran. So I thought 10, and so that perpetrator right there tried to misappropriate their government privileges. So 10 is veteran, professional is 9. So one about professional. So I'll put somebody on a hand. My name is Christian Eric Arnie Myers. So let's see what my name is here. This site is probably you let people cheat. You use AI to win, so I'll edit this. So they have the check mark. Alright. Special rules for me. Because you're done with words. Why special rules for me? Why nobody should have to unregister constantly, every fucking hand. They're cheats. They're they're men that have vaginas. Little men that have vaginas. And they pretend that they're like middleweight champions in the UFC, and they don't let my natural voice, because my natural voice takes care of the problem. And here's right there, what's going on organic. So once again, going on organic. There's the real unofficial hero of all scenarios. It's like my son. My son's black, but they would have a real affinity for white guys because they always show white guys. My son's not black. My son has blonde hair, brown eyes. Let's see what they have. So this guy's indicating that he might have. Somebody could have a straight here. Let's see what they have based on this bet. Try to refine it. So it's like Tyson bet. They didn't raise. They didn't raise enough. It was only a 200 chip raise, so that was hard to tell because there was no consistency. So they're 7 and a 5, right? So they're not. It's easier to put a better opponent on a hand because they know the value of hands, whereas a weaker opponent thinks a hand that's better than what they have is a good hand. So last time this guy had a bluff. Last time he had a bluff, so. So there's a possibility that he had a bluff there, but I didn't really have enough chips, and I had to eat high. This person's a fish. They're simple to play. You know, they can't pretend they're a person now. They can do twice that they're a weak player. They're queenie. They're trying to use this is all the artificial intelligence systems they try to use to defeat me because that's how weak they are. Then also they pretend that all those guys don't play when they call them players. Let's see what this guy does. Oh, he made a weak call. He made a weak call. He made a weak call. I win, unless he gets lucky. No, despite how long he hesitated there, called up, he made a weak call. And it was unlikely to attempt the set. That's why I made the play. Especially when there was 2 sevens, there's 2 sevens out, right? So it was something like that. That's what they do. So this is how many times I've been unregistered. I'm Christian Eric Arnmeyer. This is how many times I've been unregistered in my life. All they do is cheat me because they suck. They can't compete with me, so they suck. So this is how often another person is me to hide their culpability through me. And I'm Christian Eric Arnmeyer. So this is I'm just gonna turn down. I don't like the music. So this is what's gonna happen to them because once the public finds out, they try to hide their culpability through me, and I'm in Canada and it's common law. So here's on the $50 bill it says Christian Jesus King, and then on the $10 bill, no, I'm non-mechanic. Here's myself. Once again, they pretend that I was black at that moment on the $10 bill. I'm a white guy. So for impersonating the king, like impersonating a police officer is a felony. Imagine impersonating the king to get rewards, right? That's punishable by death. Because once the Canadian public finds out that they secretly kill Canadians, they're going to easily kill and convert high treason crimes to death penalties. That's all they are. They're predators. Everyone is like, that's what I look like. I'm Christian Eric Arnmeyer. This is how many times the government allows people to hide through me, so they're not competent as a government. That's why this is what's happening in the second quarter for Canada's economy. The third quarter is scheduled to happen to their economy because they don't acknowledge reality. They're going to completely contraction. They're done as a country. They have a system they say that's so accurate. They know where Canadians are, but they never know where I am, Christian Eric Arnmeyer, and I have to keep on repeating myself because they're allowing this guy to pretend to be me. They're inept. All they do is have different roommates to come in here at the hospital and pretend to be me, and they're not competent whatsoever. And here's what I showed today. And you guys are not competent. You know, that PhD candidate doctor who looked like my half-sister, she said that because the doctor Chin Yidu Akbana referred to me as he and then her. And she's like, well, he dictated. And well, how come 2 other patients complained about misgender identification? That's negligence. That's negligence. And to not proofread your work right? And if it was dictated, it would have went from he to she, because he and her, they don't even sound the same. So that's a poor excuse. So it's negligence and it's a poor excuse. So here's the amount of times they try to lie and hide, and here's who they always pretend I am. That's what they try to do to win. All they do is they try to do sexual favors to make me lose, and so showing their spouses. This is a play money game of poker. So for free, they're cheating on their spouses, and for free, this is play money. This guy has a weekend, guaranteed he has a weekend. So here's what they're trying to do right now. And so once again, they shouldn't be aware of what I'm doing. They try to use the guise of remote patient monitoring, but I'm the safest guy on the planet. And but all these perpetrators, well, they need to be they're parasites and people. Like I asked, I asked ASK, so I'm getting those people right there. I said that the doctor, would you take medication to kill parasites? And she said yes. And then I said, do you think it's ethical to hide your culpability through another person's body? And she said no. And nobody would want to take on consequences for other people. All they do is try to justify rape scenarios and these coward maneuvers all the time. For perpetrators, all they try to do is add coward maneuvers with artificial intelligence. They're cowards. So you can see the title of my name is Why Special Rules for Me. So they try to make it so I have a DNA transfer and I'd want to be raped, and I don't want to be raped. My name's Christian Eric Garnemeyer, and so you could hear when I said raped the first time that was somebody else pretending to be me, and here's proof of it. That's all they do. You hear my voice change, and all they do is hide their culpability and through other people, and they try to always justify me getting raped to save people, and it shows how heroic I am, Christian Eric Garnemeyer, and so when I said that again, that's who was pretending to be me, and all they do is pretend to be me, and then they try to justify raping people. They're perpetrators, they're parasites, and once again, people take medication to, that's the human population, people would take medication to kill their parasites, so all parasites need to be killed with medication then. Like in Canada, they think if they rape you with brain computer interface to look at you, that they could justify raping you, and then that you're the problem. Imagine that, raping somebody, and then making them look at your ass or your cleavage, and then thinking that they're the problem. All these perpetrators are. And once again, this is the Canadian psyche. They hate rapists, and they don't mind. If I'm like, hey, I'm gonna cut off the penis of a rapist and barbecue it and then feed it to an animal. They don't care. This is the Canadian psyche. That's the Canadian psyche. They love that idea. They don't think rapists should have penises or vaginas. Because some of these women, that's what they do to kids. They shove things up their anus. Right, so they're going to be, so this is one person right there. She's here because of that, and her son works there. And I'm not organic at that time. They try to pretend that there's somebody else to hide their culpability. And all they do is, so he's an RCMP officer, and his mom used to rape him, but then he tries to protect her. To try to get somebody that tries to stop rapists 100% of the day. Right, so he's a perpetrator, so this is what he does to his daughter. Not non-organic, that's what his daughter looks like. I don't care about your feelings, and once again, police officers don't have the ability to medicate people. They're not doctors. They're not doctors. So the psychiatric PhD student is pretending to be a nurse to avoid her culpability, and she's East Indian. So once again, with all the DNA of all the perpetrators, that's what they look like. They can't hide their ethnicity. I've showed this many times. So they try to not implement the best strategies to get rapists. How come Canada? How come around the world? How come you never implement the best strategies to get rapists? How come you allow people to pretend to be dead? They're done. And this is the anxiety of people throughout the world. They're gonna go ballistic on you. kill good people so evil people could live. Like, you think they're not gonna punish you for that? You think, this is what happened to Mussolini. He was lynched and dragged through the streets by the Italian people and hung. So this is the fate of all Canadian politicians that are evil. I couldn't show you the exact, just Mark Carney. I just showed Mark Carney because I can't show you all of them because then they'll recruit people. We have the king. Nice. We have the king. So once again, the Canadian government, this is what happens when they chop my body. They're terrorists, and nobody should have to sacrifice their one body so other people can be better. Nobody should have to sacrifice their one body so the rapist can be better. Well, he would want to smile. So they try to proliferate to make so criminal organizations could do better at certain disciplines, and they're terrorists. Nobody cares. Like, most people don't think somebody should suck, so they could be better. That's the human population. They hate you. They think you're monsters for wanting to make people suck so you get better. It's not a human nature to make the best people suck, especially once they find out how divine my blood is. But that's how lucky they have to do. They try to proliferate. Like, this is organized crime. So putting down organized crime throughout the world is using good people's anxiety to bring them to justice. I didn't show any unique characteristics of myself. All they do is try to make people jealous, so they would once again, they got lucky 2 hands in a row. 2 hands in a row. This is what they had to do That's what they have to do to beat me. They suck at poker. They suck at poker. Yeah, he had a runner to make it straight, so he did a chop pot, and then they hit a 3-outer. Well, 2-outer. There's only 2 jacks in the deck to make their hand. They suck. Those people, they suck at poker. They suck. Here's the real players. They suck at poker. They suck. They're terrible. Who's the best poker player on the planet? And one of my aliases is Chris Meyer-Diggins. Oh, and I forgot to mention how on the 2019-2020 Seattle Seahawks, in the high school, my name is Meyer-Diggins, and there's a Myers on the team, there was a Diggs on the team, there was a Britt on the team, there was a King on the team, and there was a Neil on the team. So Neil to the King, Christian Eric Arnie Meyer, who's also known as Chris Meyer-Diggins, who's also known as, and it's Cristiano Meyer-Diggins, who's also known as Godfrey Oliver Dede, and I'm one person. That's what I did. That's all for all the things I did is one person, one human body. And they can't compete with me with my one brain, so they try to justify raping me. In Ontario, the Mental Health Act, Form 33, it refers to as R, which indicates more than one individual, rather than is, which would indicate one individual. So they pretend that I'm a her. Like, the doctor referenced me 4 times. He called me a he 3 times, a him, or his once, and then a her 4 times. And none of those words sound like he, and his doesn't sound like her. Right, and there's 2 other patients, and they're very smart, and they're women, and they make the one woman smell like a man, Jen, and then I'll show you what Jen looks like right there, and then they make her, they refer to her as a him, or a he, right? So they pretend that they're different genders so they could justify violating these these people. And it's just a terror network, and all your anxiety throughout the world gets rid of these human perpetrators. Because these people are a threat to the human race. So due process, and they can't have to wait for like the amount of crime that they commit in months going to ignore non-organic. So the amount of time that amount of crimes that the average rapist electronically commits in months before they go to court. Right, so they need to, and the amount of murders that they commit, average rapists, so they need to be brought to justice immediately, not waiting weeks. Like this is how often they wait for. That's how long they wait. Pardon me. This is how long they wait for me to implement any of the directives for me to stop rapists. And before the December 12, 2024, that's how long, if I repeated myself, they implemented my directive immediately. But now, as of December 13, 2024, I repeat myself, they seldom implement my directive, because December 13, 2024, I realized that my subconscious brain runs the planet, and all of a sudden at that point, they stopped trying to hunt predators. Because I was more efficient than what they wanted to, because within 10 minutes, every predator on the planet would have been disposed of. They would have been brought to justice. So they didn't want that to happen. They want to continue to rape, and they can't. They're trying to justify raping people right now, and bringing people to justice, and so that's what they do. They recruit people that are talented, and then they for people that suck, so they can play as people's modifications. So here's the people at the hospital. There's Josh, and he's pretending to be my brother Barry John Diggins Jr. that's deceased. And here's Haley, and she's pretending to be Nicole Lily Meyer Diggins, who is deceased. And then here's, I don't know her name, but she's pretending to be Bridget Lily Meyer. And then here's other people. Well, here's Barry John Diggins Sr., and here's other people pretending to be him, so they need to be brought to justice. Because they have my family, all four of them, they have their corpses in facilities, and they leach their DNA off their corpses. Because DNA is leaching is possible. Like that's why Bloody Mary, she used to bathe in the blood of virgins, because there is some credence to being able to leach in people's DNA. And I already posted several videos how sharing like DNA transfer and sharing attributes is possible. My name's Christian Eric Arnie Meyer, Meyer. So people are pretending to be there. They're not blonde hair, blue eyed, most of them. And Stephanie Meyer, she wrote the book, the Twilight series. She wrote a book about parasitic aliens. I'm talking about parasitic humans. And I searched online, and I found out that the internet says that there's parasitic humans, right? Because I run the system. So all these people are trying to rally and recruit people in this video, but they can't, because they can't. They're diminished, they're pinned down. And this is what happens to people that think they could recruit people. What happens, and then I gave the police a choice, like an opportunity to stop crime, or that's what happens. They get the next of kin letters. They get the next of kin letters because they didn't want to stop crime. So even the young members of their family, for not wanting to stop crime, they get the next of kin letters. The Canadian public is going to go ballistic. They're going to hang and lynch every one of you. Because I'm going to be king, so I'm going to make it so that they're not going to get punished for killing the rapist and my rapist. Because once the world sees who I'm related to, they're not going to care what you think. So they got lucky and got a job pot again. That's 3 times that they had to get lucky against me. How many times did I get unlucky? How many times did they get unlucky? How many times did they get lucky? So here's the perpetrator that walked by, and then she was able to hack me with brain computer interface remote raping technology. That's all it is. And so the Canadian public's never voted on, and besides, patients have, like, they always get a printout of the prescription telling them about the prescription. So how come the Canadian government always gives me prescriptions, but they've never informed me? Right, so that's not ethical. So they're to be brought to justice. And look at how many people they're pretending to be me. So once again, turning them off. So here's that heartbeat that they hear. There's the noise that they hear in their head, and now here's what happens. Once again, there's what happens. That noise was their heartbeat or their friend's heartbeat in their head that just got turned off. That's what you get for violating Christian or Meyer. You know, I have the most important biology on the planet because I have evolutionary characteristics based on my DNA markers. The fact that I have different skills, like they're trying to sell the rapist trying to proliferate this to criminals, and so those people are to be brought to justice. They always misabuse their privileges, so they're not to be trusted. That's why it needs to be automated. And so anyways, I have a unique skeleton, a unique muscle structures, and when I did my DNA, well, when I searched online, my DNA markers are saying that my parents share common ancestors, which is strange because my parents were born in different countries. So none of these people can pretend to be me. They're trying to find out information about my family to play them, but they can't. They're all going to be brought to justice. Anybody that looks at this that's tempted, like you end up getting bad people first, and then you end up dying. New people, new people do have to die to prevent recruitment, right? So getting long-term members first. Every new person that dies, 100 long-term members die, but new people die to prevent recruitment. If you think you could be like a parasite and steal other people's attributes and those long-term members and stealing other people's attributes so you could benefit and they could suck based on how other people set them up, then you're to be disposed of, like the long-term members. Like nobody likes mosquitoes. That's why people, all people take parasitic medication to get rid of parasites. Nobody wants parasites. Nobody wants parasites. Nobody wants human parasites. And I'm going to be speaking on different frequencies at the beginning of the videos, so you don't know when it's encoded. So there are going to be new people that will be dispatched if they are tempted, but not when people think they are, because they try to slaughter new people and hide. They try to make new people die rather than long-term existing rapists that rape their entire lives. And these people are they're terrible. These long-term members. And if you're a new person, it takes generations, like 5 generations, to get any type of credit. So your family would have to rape their kids for 5 generations for you to get any credit. And if you weren't like, if they didn't tell you about this, if they didn't recruit you beforehand, you were always a victim. They were always going to victimize you. And you got to remember, most celebrities on the planet, they're cheats. Here's the percentage of celebrities that are cheats on the planet. Right, so why would you rally behind people that have to have their face modified or their body modified to look good? And most of the time, that's the amount of times that there's ugly people behind them that would rape you as well. Right, so most of these cheats, if they want to become your imaginary boyfriend or girlfriend in your head, they're lying about what they look like, first of all, most of the time. And here's the percentage of times that they lie about themselves and when they're showing to other people in their head. So showing their chronological heart rates and turning them off, kids. So they always lie about how they're perceived to be, and these people, they lie. So why would you rally behind cheats and losers? And it doesn't matter how good you are in the system, you have to be a rapist longer than them. So if they just recruited you, you'll never be a rapist longer than them because they just recruited you. So they're going to slaughter you. So why would you want to get slaughtered for people that suck, that have to be modified to be good looking? Like the percentage of these people that have to have their genes modified to be good looking, they suck. They're all they're not naturally good looking, most of them. That's the 411, and look at the time. So getting all the perpetrators long term first, but occasionally good ones that did look there and met all the parameters from the beginning of this video. Right, and nobody knows, it's secret, nobody knows anything about the parameters for this video, but getting all the long-term members, they're going to be terminated now. They're going to get lucky again. They're trying to cheat to find out. This is what they do. This is what they do here. So people that are married, they cheat on their spouses to get ahead and get perks in life, and most of the time that's like all those people there, they're just with you to get your kids, and then they dispose of you. So never get them pregnant, leave them. And same for men and women. They just try to use you, and like my family, half my family raped the other half of my family by listening to their thoughts and making them able to fall in love with them. And my ex-wife, she knew how to say everything that I needed to hear to make me fall in love with her. And here's the amount of times that things happen. She used to cook different food for her than me and my kids. So every time, once again, why special rules for me? They're trying to find out information, so rapists don't get to find out any fucking information. They're done. So all those perpetrators, they're to be turned off. They're proving that they're not capable of being professional. That's all they do. That's all they prove. So they move in. The hospital, they always have. Here's the amount of people that they had at the hospital, like to try to set me up. Here's the amount of patients that they made come to the hospital to try to set me up. And here's how many of them I set up with the truth. When I set them up with the truth. But when they set me up, they lie. They lie. When you manipulate somebody and you hijack somebody's body, then they're not responsible, are they? Like September 11th, when the building came down, it was deemed that those people didn't commit suicide because they went to work not expecting to die that day, right? But people bombed the building, so the choice for them was to either burn to death or jump out a window. So they didn't commit suicide. Their hand was forced. So here's all the perpetrators right here that their hands were never forced, and so the justice system needs to turn them off because their bodies are a threat to people. And that's what they do. They try to turn off people. When you drink coffee, it says cough in the name, right? So every time my voice changes syllables or frequency levels, they're trying to proliferate to rapists. That's why they don't allow my natural voice. I'm not a hermaphrodite, and it's my natural voice, and the Canadian government's going to have high treason charges brought for every single one of them. The guy had 3 outs in his hand. He only had 3 aces to be able to beat me here. And this is how many people they had to rape to make that happen, and how many sexual acts they had to do to make that happen. All they do, like you can see, this is the first time I got lucky, and every other time they got lucky against me. Why is there special rules for Christian Eric Arnie Meyer? The guy that looks at like the right in this picture right here. He's not a black man. George VI isn't a black man. So I'll just see here because they're playing here. Let's see. They pretend that George VI, once again, the guy on the right is Christian Eric Arnie Meyer, and he's not a black man. Let's see if George VI is a black man. Would. So they hacked it, or they made that transfer. So here's the perpetrators right there. You're all done. Everyone is. Would George 6 be considered white or black? We're gonna finish. Everyone use. Okay, so they didn't want to do that. So would George VI be considered Caucasian? Yes, George VI would be considered Caucasian. He was of European descent, specifically British. Everyone needs to pretend that George VI is a black man. Or George V. You're all mistaken, so you're all lying and you're to be terminated. You're fucking parasites. Remember, people take medication to... Let's see what the internet says here. So they're trying to... I pressed the X here, so you can see that there's the people that try to do that. Do most reasonable people take medication to kill parasites? Yes, many people with parasitic infections require anti-parasitic medication. Intestinal ones don't resolve, so require medication to effectively eliminate the parasites.